Ah, we have a viewer. Good evening. Ah, right, we've got some people on. Good evening all, hope you're all well. First and foremost, apologies, as I'm late. I had some Wi-Fi issues, which are all sorted now, thank you very much. So please do forgive me for being tardy. Who's on? Say hi. Hey Tim. Chuchenbriar. Hello from St. Louis. Good evening, Razvan. How are we doing? Smoking the Nirup with some London fog, as you do. What's been going on? I haven't actually caught up with my videos. I don't know if anything has transpired since yesterday. It's been very interesting watching everybody's VRs to the charring light. I've not yet had the courage to call out just 2 people. Hey Tree. In case you missed the first couple of seconds, I'm late because I had some Wi-Fi issues, so apologies for that. King Charles mixture and Ben Wade, nice. King Charles, is that a Jermaine's mixture? It is, isn't it? Good evening, Thomas, how are you? It's been a while. Iron Rails and Pipe Dreams, how are we? Tim, what kind of blend is that? Is it English? Virginia Latakia, right? Well, smoking London fog at the moment. Thomas, I can't remember where you are. You in Denmark? Sweden. Somewhere I haven't been yet. Thank you, Pipe Dreams. You'll have to introduce yourself. We may have introduced each other before, but I don't remember your name. I'm terrible with remembering names. I'm forever saying that as well and apologising for it, but that's the reality. My brain is a bit knackered in these days. So, if somebody wants to start a topic, because I've had 0 time today, I've literally just walked in. Hi Andrew. I've just walked in from running some errands, and it's very, very late. And I really haven't had a chance to gather my thoughts on anything to say. And you too, Andrew, thank you. In Sweden, did you, just out of interest, did you used to get McClelland blends there? Because I know a lot of Europe wasn't able to import McClelland, but I have seen it in Switzerland, which is not officially part of the EU. being an independent country. But were you able to get them in local shops in Sweden when they were around? Mm. I'm kind of itching to go over to Switzerland, but it's just too time consuming and costly. But I know that for some reason Switzerland, because it was it's independent, they seem to get a bit of everything. They get a lot of Cuban cigars, and they get a lot of American tobaccos, because they don't seem to have the same regulations as the EU. They seem to be holding out on their own. And so the last time I was there, about a year ago, in Zurich, I've mentioned this before, the shops that I went to, they were jam-packed with McLaren blends. And I dare say some of them will have loads of stock still. This is a regular coffee with some whipped milk and some chocolate dusted on top, and it is very, very nice. It's my go-to drink generally. You'll see that in many of my pictures and most of my videos. I was actually on Copper Joe's website on, I think it was on Thursday, and I almost pulled the trigger on some coffee. You managed to get 4 tins. Excellent, well done. Very well done. I do have some Frogmorton. I've got the best part of a tin in a jar. I've got an unopened 50-gram jar. And I've got some. This is a 100-gram Frogmorton on the Town from 2009. That came out of the Israti sale. I haven't got a load of Frogmorton stuff, but I've got quite a few bit of McLaren generally. I've got. I've not tried aperitif yet. Is that in English as well? Tree? Mm. So I'm guessing from the name that it's generally, is it lightweight? Right. Andrew, what are you smoking tonight? That was quick. Tim? Right now, nothing. Okay, so what's your general preference? Andrew, what'd you go for? What's your go-to smoke? Nightcap. I'm not sure if I've even tried Nightcap. I think I might have done when I first started, but... So you like your Dunhill English blends? When it comes to English blends, my go-to is Boswell Northwoods generally. But I should really retry all of the Dunhill blends, because there was a time when I smoked nothing from Dunhill, including the Virginias, which I do now smoke since moving over to 9mm pipes. So Dunhill Flake, Dunhill Dark Flake. I'm very happy to smoke their Virginias these days. Adirondack. Hey Kevin, how are we? I think we're coming to the end of this bowl. Started it earlier on. Quite well. You don't seem too sure, Kevin. Actually, this afternoon, or was it last night? A fine hamburger. And I was reading this, talking about hamburgers. I was reading this book from the Hairy Bikers, and I really enjoy cooking, to be honest. Although I don't do a lot of it as much as I used to, but I do enjoy it. And this is a great big book, lots of recipes, and it cost a £5. Don't remember where we bought it from, but it's full of recipes. And I'm thinking of doing some of them for my daughter's wedding, not the actual wedding itself, that'll be catered, but for the celebratory meals around the wedding. Is there any amateur or professional cooks out there? Well, when you had your ponytail, Tin, you looked like one almost. I could just see you on a Harley Davidson ripping along the road. Yeah, I just don't have the time usually. I mean, most of the I really enjoy cooking, but most of the time, even though I'm spending a lot of time with pipe videos and cigar videos, it's just that my work is computer based, so I can do that. When I'm not doing photographing a wedding or a bar mitzvah or an engagement or whatever it is, I'm at my computer processing pictures, so it's kind of relatively easy for me to record a video, and that's probably why I've got quite a high rate of output on my YouTube channel. But in reality, I don't have that much time outside of my office. Hi, LA Pipe Smoker. When I was less busy, then I used to spend a lot of time in the kitchen cooking, but these days I rarely have enough time to just sit around and think of something to cook and really, give it some thought and time. But I'll still rustle up in the evening. I'll still rustle up a steak or some wings or anything that I can get my hands on. Some chops, lamb chops. I do bake bread, usually on a weekly basis for the Sabbath. Hi Chris. Hi Phil. So what's your favourite thing to cook, Andrew? You say you're an amateur, but what's your tipple? If you're about to cook something, what would it be? Alright, see you, Andrew. I'm probably not going to be on as long as usual tonight. and see how it goes. Shrimp. Okay, well I can't eat any shellfish at all. Fries, yeah. Why do I never show my face? You haven't seen my face. If you see my face, maybe you'd know the answer to that. Lots of people have actually seen my face. When I go to the meetups, obviously, people see who I am. We go to the Pipe Club of London. And hopefully in June, if the date still stays okay for me, I'll be going to the Pipe Show in Nottingham, all being well. Well, Tim, if that was the case, I wouldn't have met your dad, would I? Although he's also a bit of an agent of kinds, agent of the Lord, even if he's not sure himself. Oh, you were there last year, Chris. Okay, well, maybe next year, if you're there, we'll meet and say hi. Yeah, well, to be honest, the way it started was when I first started my channel, going back, January was 2 years, and when I first started the channel, from the very first video, I made a conscious decision to really not make it a personal channel about me, but really to focus. At that time, I was about 3 months into pipe smoking, and I was so besotted with it, and I was so taken by the whole idea, that I really wanted to focus just on the tobaccos, the pipes, and so on. And I was at that stage, I had only just started getting into cigars. Okay, now you know I wear glasses. I'd only just started getting into cigars, and I really wanted to make it about the actual product themselves. And once I started it, it kind of just snowballed from there, and I just kept it up. And it's, as you say, it's part of the uniqueness of the channel, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely. It does give a different viewpoint. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everybody's got their own way of doing things, and for me, this works. I'm a perfectly normal human being, and anybody who's met me will attest to that, I'm sure. Okay, this bowl is pretty much done. Filters, I'm really not fussy. I'll show you what I've got. I've got a bag of old Jean-Claude active carbon filters, which I got from the Israeli sale. So these are most likely a good few years old, and they still seem to be absolutely fine. I've got some Peterson ones, and I've got some Dr. Pearl Jr. These are also quite old, I think. And just whatever sometimes comes with a pipe, you get, maybe a dozen or 10, a 10 pack like that. But I'm not fussed. I find that they're all very, very similar. Yeah, so I don't know. Hi, Crosby's Corner. How are we? Wolf Valley Boy is Tim, and I'm Simon. And Crosby's Corner is Jeff, isn't it? Yeah, hi Jeff. So basically, filter-wise, I'm really not fussed. I don't really see a huge difference between them. Some people say that they find that the airwaves on some of them are easier they've got a better draw. These ones have also got, it's kind of a meerschaum kind of idea. over there on both sides, so you can put it into your pipe in any direction. Whereas the Peterson ones have got a plastic on one side and the Meerschaum on the other side, or ceramic, whatever it is. So this, when you've got plastic on one side, you have to put the plastic facing outwards to the mouthpiece. So you have to put them in like that. So I guess you've got this side would have to be at the heat end, and the plastic would be where the smoke comes through. I must be honest that I've been smoking now with a filter for a good, as I said, 3 or 4 months. Literally every single smoke has been with a filter. Maybe I've had one bowl of Northwoods possibly without a filter, and I've honestly not seen a difference between them. It could be that all the ones that I've smoked are good. Yeah, they're not the cheapest thing in the world. If you're buying a bag of 100 or 200, it could cost you 15, 20 quid. Well, I suppose in reality that's not too bad if you're getting 100 or 200. What kind of bulk is that, Tim? How many? And how much? Well, in terms of using a filter, I smoked the pipe for 2 years without a filter, and I was very limited. I had quite a narrow selection of tobaccos that I could smoke, if otherwise I got tongue bite. So it really depends. 39 quid for 400, yeah, it makes sense. It's about 15, 20 quid for 200. I generally found that Virginias I couldn't smoke. In actual fact, one of the very first few pipes that I bought on eBay was a Mario Grande, and this is a ginormous pipe. It's been on one of my sales before, because I thought it would enable me to smoke Virginias because of the thick walls. It's a huge pipe. It's actually very nice. It's got some nice grain on it, but it's just a big pipe. So if somebody likes big pipes, then yeah, it's a sitter as well. But I thought it would enable me to smoke Virginias, but it didn't make any difference. Granted, I was quite inexperienced at the time, and probably I didn't pack it right, and I probably smoked it too fast and too hot. Yeah. But it doesn't get smoked. I think I've smoked this literally a handful of times, but it's not practical to smoke. And it doesn't take a filter anyway. So I was unable to smoke quite a selection of tobaccos, and if I'm honest, even Northwoods, which I smoked literally on a daily basis, as I got through the bowl, I started to get tongue bite with that, but I just tolerated it. And after but after a few days, I would have to stop because I just couldn't take the tongue bite. My tongue was starting to get sore, and I would have to stop and let it calm down a bit. Certain blends I could smoke almost with impunity. Think some cherry blends and things like that, but as well, those you have to be careful because they're so heavily cased sometimes that burns hot and can burn you as well. But I used to smoke, for the most part, in the beginning, with pretty much without any hassle at all, was Blood Red Moon, that I smoked a hell of a lot of in the beginning. But when I went over to filters, it just completely opened up a whole gamut of blends, and I would encourage anybody who's starting really to give it a go. Besides for the health aspects of it, I don't find that it really reduces my enjoyment. Put it this way, if you've always smoked without a filter and then you suddenly use a filter, then yes, I'm sure you will see a difference. You'll see a narrowing possibly of the flavour profile. But if you haven't smoked with a filter before, so for me, I didn't smoke Virginias beforehand because it bit me straight away. Now I can smoke Virginias and I can enjoy them. It could be that I'm not enjoying the full the full flavour because some of it's being filtered out. That could be, but at least I'm able to smoke them. I've yet to smoke a Meerschaum with a filter. I've smoked Meerschaum generally. I haven't yet really enjoyed it that much, but I will be getting the Pipe Club of London that should be coming out in the next few weeks. We ordered those last year, and this year they're a Meerschaum pipe, a filtered Meerschaum pipe, and that I'm looking forward to that. It's a Meerschaum pipe with the emblem carved out on the Meerschaum, the emblem of the Pipe Club of London. So that should be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to be quite a big, hefty pipe. Really a pipe for relaxing in, not for running around with. And that's probably a pipe that I'm going to really enjoy, watch it colour up, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. This is the only Meerschaum that I smoke, and I've got, sorry, I tell a lie, I've got a Meerschaum lined Briar, a Rattray, but so far I have not seen, they're not filtered, whereas the Rattray one is actually. And it could be that the Rattray one I'm not enjoying because you're getting a double whammy of filtration, because the Meerschaum does take out, it does filter out some moisture, and then the filter doing it again, and also taking away some of the flavour possibly, and I just found a little bit too bland. But I haven't smoked it enough, to be honest, to give a real opinion on it. So it's really an uninformed sort of assessment, really. Right, I think we're going to move over to a cigar. Simon, did you ever get a tobacco suggestion you liked along the cigar flavour line? I would suggest that, I mean, I still have to go back and look through that properly. I got a whole load of suggestions. I did a video not that long ago, probably during this week even, maybe end of last week, asking that very question, and people were fantastic. I've got a huge response, but I haven't had the chance to go through it in great detail. But I will be going through that and possibly coming back onto the topic. And Tobacco Manil was one of the ones that was suggested. Maybe it was you who suggested it. This is the guy who makes tobacco in, is it Belgium? Yeah. Have you got any other stuff? You do? Well, I would love to, not that I'm one to beg, but I would like to try some before I start buying a whole pack of it and stuff like that. Okay, we'll get in touch. Have you got me on IG, James? You got my handle? So we're going to light up a Ramon Ayones French Regional Edition. Yes, it is a Quai d'Orsay. It's not unsmoked. I smoked it on Friday, but I ran out of time, so it's been sitting there. It's pretty hard. If I get desperate, I might relight it, but I'm afraid that's gone. So this is a French regional. It's called the Hexagon from 2016. It's a 50, either 52 or a 54 by, it's probably 5.5 inches, 5, something like that. I do enjoy it, but I ran out of time. I had to go out, and I generally don't walk through the house with a lit cigar. I'm in a room in my house which is almost hermetically sealed, so when I smoke a cigar or a pipe, the aromas don't go into the house at all. So I generally don't walk through the house with a lit pipe or a lit cigar. Underground shade, yes, yep. I think I've tried all the undergrounds. I started off with the underground, the regular underground, the Maduro, which I enjoyed. Then I went to the underground shade, which was a very nice, creamy, smooth smoke. And then I tried the underground sun-grown when it came out recently, and for me that was the best of the lot. I have some here. And I also recently got the the Florida sun-grown, is it called? The blue band. Yeah, I found that too spicy and too peppery. But yeah, the shade is definitely a very nice, easy, anytime, reliable, smooth, creamy smoke. Two-wheel couch. Alright, let's see if I can find you. Just realised I've got chocolate all over my sleeve. Two-wheel couch. Ooh, nice pipe, Chris. BJV pipes. If anybody hasn't checked him out, he makes some lovely pipes. That's very similar to my stealth poker, which I got from Chris. The People Piped, how are you? That's the stealth one that I got from him. Beautiful pipe, smokes lovely. Carves some beautiful pipes. The Peaches. Pottsville Piper. Joshua. Joshua was on last week, so was Pottsville. How are you doing, the People Piped? Mike Blocker. Nom de Gram, Andy. Wolf Valley Boy. Rich Dark Flake. Hey, 10. 500 grams. Cool. You must be flush. Cheers, Chris. Have a great weekend. This is the way to do it, to run through IG whilst live on... Come on, Tim, where are you? Let's have some comment, please. Okay, yeah, it's Grown On Me has that blend. Yeah, it's a good blend, it really is. Where did you get that from? From my smoking shop? Or was it from your place, Gauntleys or whatever it is? GQ. Was that a couple of £100 worth, no? Is that 134? That's not bad. Is that half a pound or a pound? In old money. Just over £1. 134 quid, are you sure? That sounds very good. That sounds very good, actually. You sure it's not 250 grams, that one? No, it is 500 grams. You can see it on the bag. Yeah, but I don't think it's 17 ounces, though. It is 17 ounces. Wow. That sounds very cheap. That sounds like a good deal, Tim. Piporium. Cool, he's got a nice collection there. Steve. Steve normally comes on, Steve and Yan. Martin Dransfield, that's Mother Do pipes. I've had a couple of his pipes. Stutter, that's Cynthia and Susan. Andy. Hoosier Piper. Hoosier Piper, just one Briarblades Ladons 500 Gore. Nice. Ooh, you've been giving it out, haven't you, Tim? Right, is this boring you lot? What's that used in Tilbury? Tilbury, is that is that one with a fruity or a liquor kind of addition? Hey Barry Becker. Oh, 5100. Very nice. The House of Cigars in Venice, a fantastic shop actually. I was there a few months ago. Very, very nice place. It's the only real cigar shop there, but it's got a nice selection of cigars. Lovely, lovely chap, the guy that ran it. I can't remember his name though. I've started following him on IG, but lovely guy. Virginia Burley. I don't know, I've so far not really got to grips with Burleys. Gordon Bennett, Jeremy's been on it again. Complete Midnight Blast. Allen Brothers set. Very nice. Have fun, Jeff. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping by. Piper Music. Where is he these days, Tim? Do you know? Ghost carb. Roughworks, fantastic tampers. If you ever want to buy some tampers, he's one of the best tamper makers out there. Well, he certainly seems to be having a time of it, Tim, doesn't he? Is he happier in Argentina anyway? Is it better than Venezuela, I guess? Although it's not the best regime there either, is it? Or is he still just in the middle of his journey? So what's everybody smoking tonight? Everybody's very quiet. Anybody can feel free to start a discussion of any topic. I'm a little bit light tonight because, as I said, I had a very busy day today and I came in late and I had Wi-Fi issues. I came straight in without really preparing tonight. So feel free to kick off any subject. What's your choices, James? Well, you can give us a little bit of a review, a mini review of Tobacco Manil. I was at an event, I was doing photos at an event a couple of weeks back, and they had a bunch of these miniatures lying on the table, so I helped myself to one. Haven't tried it yet. Stonehaven, very nice. Well, plum pudding's pretty good. The Haunted Bookshop I've never tried. I'm really intrigued about this Tobacco Manil. And Orlick Golden Slice, of course, I have in my London Fog, but on its own, I think it needs a bit of age. I've smoked it on its own a couple of times, and it's a very straightforward Virginia, but fresh out of the tin, hasn't got that much going for it for me. Right, we're officially at 1 AM. It's 2 minutes past 1 now. The clocks have gone forward tonight. Radio stations I listen to, for the most part, it's LBC, which is a talk station. Razvan, are you in England? I don't remember. Toasty barley like. I thought it was at midnight. Is it only at 1 AM? Oh, right, okay. That make a difference. Come tomorrow morning, we'll be knackered anyway. I've got my boy and his wife and baby coming in to Luton Airport at about 2 a.m. Cheers, Phil. Have a good one. How's your dad doing, Tim? Has he had any... I mean, he gave us an update the other day. And RUC, is that one of those cigars that you sent me, mate? Oh, nice. My son, I see him once or twice a year these days, but he might move back to the UK at some point in the next year or two. We'll see. He's studying at the moment, so we'll see how it goes. How far is your dad from you, Tim? You're in Leeds and he's in Newcastle, right? So what's that, like an hour on the road? Hour and a half. That's not too bad. That's nice. So you'll be able to sit down and have a nice pipe together. That's cool. My dad doesn't smoke. He's never smoked in his life. Might have had the odd cigar here or there, but he doesn't smoke. And I don't smoke in front of my parents. Never have. Don't know if it's a respect thing or an old-fashioned thing, but I don't smoke in front of them. And if I go to them, I'll make sure that I don't smell of smoke either. That's nice. Does she manage to get out, your mum? Is she mobile at all? Yeah, that's tough. That is very tough. People who are infirm, life is tough. But I guess it helps a great deal that your dad's around. Oh, really? Wow. That's rough. Are they in a ground floor or are they up higher? Hmm. Well, that's handy. That's something, I guess. I guess when it comes to the summer, we'll be seeing more of your dad's shed or garage, whatever he's got there. He mentioned last year about setting up a bit of a workshop in there. Has he had any luck with that, or is it too cold? With Dunhill pipe, it's early days. I've smoked it, I think, twice or 3 times, possibly, mainly twice actually. It's a lovely little pipe, and the one thing I'm actually going to be doing at some point, I've been asked a few times now by people to do like a beginners a video or a series for beginners, and this is going to be one of the points that I'm going to make. Is that with a short pipe, you do end up with a warmer smoke because it hasn't got much of a travel. So you do have to smoke this quite slowly, otherwise you end up having quite a hot smoke. But it's a great pipe for the car. That's where I've smoked it so far. It's a great pipe for just sticking in your shirt pocket. I even put it in my pouch, my tobacco pouch fits in there. It's a great pipe to take around with you. Hi Pipe Grump, good to see you again. Yeah, so that's one of the points that I want to make for beginners is to really get not to get too short a stumpier pipe. I mean, a lot of the pipes, especially in the American market, there's a lot of people do these stubby pokers and things like that, which they're great. I think for beginners, a classical pipe is the best way to go. Something like this, or even like this. A pot-shaped pipe, so you've got some thick walls, a decent length, stem and shank. It's the best way to go, in my opinion anyway. Not that I'm any authority on the matter, but that's just my view. James, nothing to it, just try it. Hey Eric, how you doing? Congrats on the nuptials. You must have a very understanding wife. Let you out already? Either that or you're in the doghouse, one of the two. Mini honeymoon, cool. Did you go anywhere special or at home? Very nice. I like that kind of holiday. That's what we've generally done with the family as well. Somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, countryside. Just, very nice. There you go, Ireland. Perfect for a countryside. Make sure you get to go to Peterson while you're there. Oh, nice. Kamoy Zulu, that sounds good. Is that a smooth or a rusticated one? Or sandblasted? Blasted, nice. Whereabouts are you, James? Which part of the world? filly. I had a really nice downhill Zulu, sandblasted one, which I traded west of me, which I traded with Briar Boy, with Aaron. Can't remember his name now. Someone? Anyone? Strange, isn't it? Strange? Aaron Strange? Anyway, so I traded it for a Don shape, the one with a very slim stem, which I then sold in one of my sales. So I was pretty happy with that in the end. It worked out okay. So I wasn't that happy with it. He was prepared to trade back, but I let him go. Nice pipe it was, actually. The Zulu. Zulu's a nice shape. I've got one here sitting here somewhere. It's Northern Briars Zulu. Smokes very nicely. And it's actually a filtered one. I've got an unfiltered one somewhere, but I don't smoke it anymore. And then somebody on one of the Facebook news groups offered it to me. So I bought it off him. It was unsmoked. I think I paid him £100 for it. Or 120, I can't remember. But this one does get smoked now because it's filtered. Pipe Grump, how's your new pipe, the one that you made, getting on? Smoking okay? You thinking of getting into carving generally, or was it just a one-off? Yeah, well, I mean, in Northern Briars, they're great pipes, really good. If you're interested in buying a Zulu, I've got one, which I'm not smoking at the moment, that is non-filtered. This is in Northern Briars Canadian, which was, I smoked just Boswell's Northwoods in this. And although I'm not smoking it, this one I want to keep. It's just, this was like a daily smoker, this one. But I just like the shape of it. And I'm keeping this one. It would be great if I could get a filter converted in there, but I don't think there's enough girth in there. But if I ever just on the odd occasion smoke something without a filter, then at least I'll have something. Yeah, this is the Northern Briars Zulu without the filter. That's Cumberland Stem Silver Band. If you're interested, let me know. Very, very nice grain on this one. Let me know anyway if you're interested. I'm not going to turn this into a sale video. Erin and Eric. The difference between you two is just an N and a C. What can we come up with on N and C? Hey Erin, how are you? You're a lucky lady. I'm sure he's a lucky man too. it's very nice of you to let him come on whilst you're in the middle of a honeymoon. Well, for most men, their women would say that the best way to a man's heart is through his stomach. But I think you've recognised in Eric, you've found the route to his heart clearly since you just got married. So I'm sure you recognise his deep affection for pipes. Obviously not as deep as his affection for you, quite clearly, but Eric, you'll have to do a video together. Definitely you should. There's quite a few presenters out there who have teamed up with their significant others, and some of them have really hit it off as a fantastic sort of tag team on their videos. One remarkable one is obviously the Dagners with Elaine. She's really completely taken to it and hit off. They've been at it now she's been on their videos almost since day one, when they got together. I think I only ever saw one video of his previous girlfriend, but she's on pretty much every single one of his videos and is now an integral part of their business. I say this every week, with this ring, Ivy, let's see your rings, Eric. Come on, show them off. Oh, you can't, it's only one video. What a twit. So what hobbies is the wife into, Eric? Perhaps we can send you a wedding present, which would be of interest to both of you. She must be a bit of a masochist if she's married to you, but besides for that. Reality TV. Such as craft beer. You got a good one there, Eric. Never mind craft beer, you're crafty. Yeah, you see, you got the we love craft beer. Oh, he's married well and truly. Well, the C in Eric is definitely crafty. Yeah, I'm not really up with the American craft beer. You got a huge market there, haven't you? There's quite a lot of presenters who are drinking craft beer. Yeah, serves me well. Cheers, girlfriend. I bought that on holiday once. I don't know, don't remember where anymore. But yeah, since then it's just been my go-to mug. I'm sure there are plenty of Moody Blue fans. I'm not one of them, but there are. Your wife, indeed. You just got a punch in the head, didn't you, from the wife? For saying fiance. As long as you don't wake up tomorrow morning with all your pipes snapped in half. That'll teach you to call me fiance. See you, Eric and Erin. Have a lovely evening. Catch you next time. Hopefully on a video together. It'll be lovely to see you. This thing, yeah, I did open it. And this stuff is smokable. I mean, some of it is quite brittle, but it's basically, it's dry, but it's smokable. And the aroma is definitely there. I've been giving a lot of it away. When I've been selling pipes, I've been sending a baggie of it to everybody, let them have a go. Some half and half from the 1970s. Smooth Piper. How you diddling, Smooth? What you up to tonight? Well, James, we can do a trade. I can send you some of this aged half and half, and you can send me some of that Belgian stuff. I would like to try it. Distinguished Gentleman. Is that a C&D blend? Not heard of that one. Is that a German blend, Hoffman? Is that a German company? Hey Tom Evans, how are you? What are you smoking tonight? Where are you based, Smooth Piper? Not sure why, but I had you down as a UK guy, but maybe not. Just by your title, perhaps. You're in the USA. Have you ever done any videos, Smooth Piper? I don't remember. I see a lot of your comments, but I'm not sure if I've ever seen a video from you. Yeah, I will do. Can you just remind me your handle again? Was it 2Couchwheel something? That's what I originally got the IG on for before, and I forgot. I just got too busy looking at other people's posts. Like I'm doing now. Two-wheel couch, okay. Jim. Okay, we're in. Alright, I've followed you. Cheers, James. We'll be in touch. No, I don't find it particularly strong, but that's obviously very... Cheers, James. Nice one. It's very subjective with cigars. It's like that with anything. You know, each person's mild cigar, one person's mild cigar might be somebody else's steam train, you know. It's subjective. One of the first cigars that I had in recent years was a Ramon Allones, a limited edition. I don't remember which year, possibly 2012. I've mentioned this before. I remember smoking it in my son's car, and it knocked me for six. Absolutely knocked me for six. Hi, Michael. How you doing? But these days, when I smoke Ramon Allones, to me they look strong. Really, I find I get hit more by cigars like Padron, and I've still got a Padron Natural 1926 series, which I'm aching to smoke, and I still haven't smoked it. I've just been trying to find the right time to smoke it so that I can do a video at the same time, and it just hasn't worked out. The timings just hasn't been right. Need to have it after a good solid meal. Yeah, I did. Well, I made a video about a Padron 1964. I think it was a Churchill, a very large cigar, and the American Vitolas are more generous than the English Vitolas or the Cuban Vitolas. So a Churchill here is officially a 7 by 46 or 48, that kind of thing. I think it's a 7 by 48. It's a Cuban Churchill, classic Cuban Churchill, and that one was something like a 7 by 54 or something like that. And it took me 3 sessions to smoke that Padron, and it knocked me each time. But that was early on. Nowadays it probably wouldn't hit me as much. I'm drinking a coffee with some chocolate on the top, which is now melted. My regular drink, really, when I smoke. Michael, whereabouts are you in the world? Northeast of Orlando. Your surname is interested. Orem. What is that? Where does that come from? Irish. Cool. A lot of you Americans seem to have Irish blood in you. I've actually got, well, not me personally. My wife's mother is Irish. Oh, right, okay, cool. Well, there's over 500 videos on my channel. I can't believe it sometimes. Sometimes I think to myself, what I could have done in that time. 500 videos is just such a huge amount of time. But as I was saying earlier on, a lot of it is spent when I'm sitting working at my computer anyway. But it's still a lot of time, And I used to put a lot more time into editing as well, whereas nowadays I try to shoot in one session if I can. If I'm doing a first impressions of a cigar or a pipe tobacco, it'll usually be 3 or 4 clips stuck together, edited together. But I basically have my way of doing it. I do it very simply, so it doesn't take too long to edit. Try to keep things simple as much as possible. But I haven't had so much time recently to do impression videos. The problem wasn't so much the editing itself. The editing itself I do very little. It's watching it through, and so if you're doing a 15-minute video, you've got that 15 minutes of listening it back and then stopping it and cutting it and splicing it and editing it. So on average it might have taken me half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, but 15 minutes of that time, or even 20 minutes of that time, was listening to it and listening to bits of it again. In the beginning, when I was less used to doing it, I would sometimes ramble on, and a lot of it would be boring, and I probably ramble on and boring now as well, but I tend to keep things much more concise. And I try to really not, although sometimes I do ramble, but when I'm doing first impression videos, I try to keep them more concise these days. So when I'm editing, I'm literally just putting in 4 or 5 clips into the editor, doing a little fade, and that's it, and then rendering it. Whereas beforehand, I would literally have to go through it, listen to it, make sure that I wasn't talking rubbish, and if I was, I would obviously cut that out. But nowadays I don't do that. I really hardly actually edit it as such. I'm just splicing it and rendering it. Yeah, it's very easy to collect Cubans. It's very costly, but it's an easy thing to get hooked into. The same as pipe tobacco. Once you start, it's almost no end. I went through a phase with Cubans of really going for the double bands, like this, with either the limiteds or the regional editions. But I'm kind of past that. I still buy the limiteds when I can. But I find generally the limiteds are usually a departure from the usual flavors of a cigar in Cuban cigars. More often than not, they'll have a darker wrapper, so it'll generally change the flavor profiles a bit, as opposed to the regionals. The regionals tend to be much more faithful to the original DNA of a cigar, but they just have slight variations. So for instance, the Belgian, the Belux Double XL, which is the same Vitola as this, but it's the Belgian regional, compared to this one, which is a French regional, both issued on the same year in 2016. Both nice cigars, but I prefer the French one. And they'll all be good in a few years. They'll all be fantastic. They're good. Ramon Jones is it's a safe bet for the most part. I've got some of the limited edition from 2015, the Club-Alones. Also nice, but I didn't think it. I don't think the dark wrappers, do it any favors. That's just my personal view. So I've been in the same way as with pipe tobacco in the beginning. You're into the chase and you're hunting down the elusive brands like Esoterica and those kind of things. And now people will be hunting down McClellan blends and things like that. But I've kind of got to a place now, especially with my newly found affinity for Virginias, that I'm not in such a rush anymore. I know that I can go to any UK site and buy a decent Virginia if I want to. If I'm stuck, I can get a full Virginia flake from Samuel Gowerth. I can get Germain's. Germain's now seems to be available pretty regularly now. The UK versions of Germain's blends. A year or two ago, it was also not so readily available. If you wanted to get rich dark flake, it wasn't always there. Special Latakia flake wasn't always there. Nowadays, in the last few months, it seems to be quite available. So I went through that period where I was chasing down tobaccos, but now I've got more than enough tobacco to keep me going, and I find that I'm really smoking the Virginias most of the time now. I'm smoking London Fog a lot. So I've got stacks of Latakia blends which I'm not smoking at the moment. And as the seasons change, our palates change, and I'm sure I'll be going back into those. And there was a time in the beginning when I smoked a blend, I didn't like it, I'd give it away or trade it or do something. But now, also, although I give away loads of tobacco, but I'll still hold on to stuff, knowing that at some point in the future I'll enjoy it again. So that's one thing I've learnt is really to slow down in terms of getting different blends, trying this one, trying that one. There's always something, for instance, now I've been sort of asked that question about sort of similar cigar blends, something that gives you that kind of satisfaction, and no doubt I'll be looking into those. But I'm not going to go mad and buy every single one that's out there. I'll be trying to fine-tune it, doing some research and picking up a few to try, but there has to come a point when you just enjoy the smoking rather than the hunt for different tobaccos. Even the pipes I've slowed down on. There is the odd purchase here and there, but I've slowed down big time. This Dunhill purchase, this Stubby Dublin was really a very big treat for me. It's my first Dunhill filtered pipe, and it's the first Dunhill new pipe that I bought brand new, retail. But It's not something I'll do very often. You buy from Hong Kong, right? Do you ever get trouble with the stuff coming in? Does it get pinched on the way in, Michael? Do you have to pay extra tax when it comes in? Can you declare it as cigars, or you have to hide the fact that it's cigars on the packaging? They do hide it, right? Which sites do you get from in Hong Kong? Big Brother's always watching. Have I smoked tree mixture again? I don't think so. Finest Cuban, yeah, I've been to their website. I don't think I've actually bought from them though. Absolutely, Tim. Yeah, I'm roughly around that kind of place now as well. What's your favourite Cubans, Michael? I guess your job is a little bit harder being in the States. Cigars of Habanos. That's from... Alright. Lusitania is a nice smoke, yeah. You got to have time for it, but it's a nice smoke. Do you find that sometimes that they're quite tight on the draw? Dr. Joe's videos are fantastic, but you've got to have time. Yeah, he doesn't really upload, but you've got to have time for his videos. I mean, he'll do a review on a cigar over 10 parts, and each one could be an hour long. I didn't have the time to watch his videos. They're very, very informative. I mean, I did watch, rather than reviews, I did watch his stuff, information about how to look after cigars and setting up humidors, things which were helpful, but his reviews are just far too in-depth and too long. Do you know that for a fact that he passed away? Such a young guy. I'm just looking up. I'm just looking up some blogs about him, and one of them says he was told he could never smoke again due to health problems, and was selling off his inventory. This was per the discussion under his last YouTube video. One of the viewers emailed Joe, and this is what Joe messaged him back. It would have been nice if Dr. Joe was able to deliver a farewell messages, but I guess that wasn't going to happen. I really enjoyed his videos and learned a lot from him when I got into Cubans, and there's a shortcut to his video. Lawrence Davis is very funny. Cheers, Smooth Piper. Have a good dinner. Tim, your dad uploaded a video earlier about being brainwashed. I haven't had a chance to respond yet, but I'll probably just do a typed response on his channel. But I thought he was going to get into something else, but he didn't. I thought he was going to get into being brainwashed about the health aspects of smoking, and that we brainwash ourselves about it being okay. Yeah, it was interesting what he was saying. It's basically marketing. He was talking about the names of certain tobaccos and how we get brainwashed. So, for instance, he was saying that early morning pipe and nightcap. So people automatically they'll smoke early morning pipe in the morning and smoke nightcap at night. Yes, nightcap is a heavier blend and early morning pipe is a lighter blend, as the names would suggest. But he was thinking that maybe we get brainwashed by it, but it's just very good marketing. And yes, I suppose it's a suggestive, and it subliminally has an effect on the choices that we make, I guess, which I suppose could be called brainwashing. I didn't know he was a president of a Bulgarian football club either. Is he, or is that just a laugh? Lawrence Davis is good fun. I like watching his videos. Sometimes I'll just have them on. I don't do Twitter. There's a limit to how much social media you can do, you know. I just don't do it. I'm limited to Facebook and IG and this. I can just put Lawrence Davis on, so just for entertainment factor. I just like his the way he delivers. I think it's entertaining. I can just have them on, just going from one video to the next. They're relatively short. They're interesting. I like to see the different cigars that he smokes, that he chomps through. But he's a cigar purveyor. At the end of the day, he sells cigars. So I don't rate his videos too much. Hi Brian. The unbranded cigar is Canca or Sanca or Chanca Negrito. Haven't smoked it yet. I'll have to get in touch with you again to get more information on it. If I do a video of it, I'll want some information. Let me write that down actually before I forget. I've still got them separately in a separate little container, so I know who they came from when I do talk about them. Where's a pen when you want one? Canca Negrito. And I still haven't uploaded the other one. I did do a video on one of the banded ones that you sent, but I haven't uploaded it yet. My phone ran out of memory, so I copied everything over to a hard disk. And usually the way I do it is I'll record the videos and I'll leave it on my phone until I edit it, so I know that I haven't done it yet. But because I ran out of memory, I just dumped everything over onto a hard disk, and now it's a lot harder to just filter through them and find what I want. So I may just smoke one of the other ones and do a fresh video. Yeah, I would also like to try one of the Linears. They haven't come out yet. I reckon we'll probably see them in the next 3 or 4 months, maybe 6 months. They're certainly picking up on the marketing, the bands and the band on the foot. It really makes it look very classy. Which is the most expensive cigar you've smoked, Michael, so far, Cuban? And here in the UK, any Cuban cigar you smoke is going to be expensive. We pay almost double the price anywhere else in the world. The taxes here are astronomical. I think overall, the most commonly smoked cigars for me is probably Ramon Allones, out of all of them. But I do jump from make to make all the time. H. Upmann's, Cohibas, Partagas, Robena, Monte Cristo's a lot as well. E2 is a really nice smoke. I've still got a couple in my humidor. I bought a box of 5. Those ones I actually bought from Hong Kong, or maybe Switzerland. But I think even the Swiss websites, when you buy them on a Swiss website, they actually ship them from Hong Kong. But they were very nice. They put it this way: the ones that I'd had in the local shops here, probably in Dunhill or somewhere like that, were better. And when I got this box of 5, it was pretty green, and I let it sit. I bought it probably about 1.5 years ago. I smoked one fairly straight away, didn't enjoy it, and then I've smoked them again, and each time I smoke them they're better, so I'm just leaving them in the humidor for a while. The time improvement that you get on a Cuban cigar is just unbelievable. The longer the better, in most cases. I do find with some that it's too long. I've said that in the past, specifically with H. Upmann Magnum 50s. For me, the ones from 2008 was a very good crop for Cuban cigars, and there's still quite a lot of vintage 2008 boxes out there. They're really, really smooth and velvety, but for me they just lose a little bit off the edge in terms of the flavour. It's less spicy. For me, the sweet spot on Cuban cigars is usually about 5 years, 4 or 5 years. But even 2 years makes a big improvement. Yeah, Tim, I went through a phase of picking up quite a lot of New World cigars. One of the best places for me, if you want to try New World cigars, is Boswell's. I know you had trouble getting Boswell stuff in, but they've got on the website a nice selection of 3-packs which you can buy. They've got about 20 different 3-packs, and it's a good place to start. They're well priced. Yeah, that 2017 Cohiba, let it rest for a good 3 to 5 years. I had one pretty soon after they came out, and I didn't think that much of it. And even though it was brand new, so you wouldn't get the best out of it, but being a limited edition, it should have been aged 3 to 5 years already. But really, I'm afraid I didn't follow the hype. The hype was, people were reviewing them and saying that they were fantastic, even straight out of the box when they came out. And I'm afraid I didn't agree with the hype myself. How would I define it? That's a very good question. If you get a Cuban cigar which is well looked after, has got a few years on it, not a fresh one, but if you've got one which is, say, 5 to 8 years old, has been well looked after, well humidified all the way through its life, you take it out of the box and you smell it, you just run it past your nose, you will get the most delicious, divine, sweet, sour, tangy aroma. And I've struggled to describe it, but in the past I've called it an intimate aroma. And those of you who have smelled a good aged Cuban cigar will know exactly what I mean. Responses, please. Any recognition? Okay, so Michael, you know what I'm talking about. You get, it's like a sweet body aroma, if that makes any sense. And it's a very heady kind of aroma. Sometimes it comes through in the smoke and you'll get that tang, that richness, that sort of a mixture of spicy, sweet, sour, musty, all rolled into one. And that's kind of for me, what the Cuban twang is. And it's beyond compare. If you get a good cigar, there isn't, in my opinion, there isn't a single non-Cuban cigar that can stand up to that. Yeah, that aroma when you open your humidor, yeah, absolutely. I've got 2 frigidors, which is what the new air is essentially. It's a wine cooler which has been adapted. One of them is a small fridge which I bought from a furniture shop. It's a wine fridge, and that was my first one. It's a really small one, and I was literally having to reconfigure the contents all the time because I couldn't get any more in. So eventually I bought another one, a slightly bigger one, but this was used, the first one was a new one, so it had no aroma and it was fine. But the second one had been used as a wine cooler before. So it took a bit of time to get rid of the wine aromas, and there's still a little bit of a hint of it, but it's, if anything, it's helping. It just gives a nice aroma. Yeah, when you open a humidor, get the aroma, it's great. Temperature is around the 70 mark, and humidity is usually around the 67, something like that. And it does fluctuate. I haven't got an environment which is controlled to the nth degree. I don't get too fussed about it. Obviously, I won't let it fluctuate wildly, but yeah, generally it's around 67, something like that, on the humidity. Although 70/70 is the industry standard, and that's a safe place to go, but 70 can sometimes be a little bit, the cigars, when you take them out, they can be a little bit spongy, and they can sometimes affect the burn, and therefore the cigars can get a little bit too hot. So in those cases, if you have a humidor at 70 or thereabouts, it's good to leave the cigar out for a bit before you smoke it, so it just dries off a little bit and it evaporates a little bit. The burn will be better and more consistent, and it'll just be a little bit better. So rather than doing that, because sometimes when you do that, it'll lead to cracking of the wrapper if it humidifies too quickly or dehumidifies and it expands. So I generally just keep the humidity in the humidor a little bit lower. I do want to get myself the Oasis at some point, so the Cigar Oasis humidifier, and then I just don't have to worry about it, just set it and leave it. But I have wanted for a long time now, wanted to convert one of my cupboards downstairs in my living room. I've got a wooden cupboard which I'd like to just, it's a big cupboard, and if I even just sort of seal off just one section of it, would be enough to take all of my cigars. But I haven't done it yet. Just laziness and time, really. And once I've got them all under one roof, so to speak, then I'll probably get an Oasis to just keep them all at a constant level, temperature and humidity. So what do you do in the heat when you have air conditioning, or you've got what's his name, which cools it, right? Now your new air does heating and cooling, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, you have air conditioning anyway. So I have, in the room that I've got my humidors in, I do have air conditioning in. So if I need to, I can keep that on. During the summer, my air conditioning was on 24/7, just to keep the room at a reasonable rate. But temperature is not usually such an issue here. Most houses are around the 70 mark in terms of temperature. It's the humidity really that needs the most care. I don't think temperature is a huge issue. You don't want it going up and down to extremes, but even if you had it at 65 degrees temperature, it's not the end of the world. It's more the humidity that's the issue. So you keep the beads in the humidor with the bags, so the bags don't get used up. It's essentially, the bags will only emit humidity when they need to. If you've got the beads in there, then the bevidas won't feel the need to emit humidity. So as you say, you're feeding the bevida bags, but there is really no need for the bevida bags if you've got the beads in there. Your bevida bags won't actually be working because if the beads are emitting, well, maybe they're working together in tandem, possibly. I've got the same, I must be honest, but I've never thought of it in that way. I've got Zycar beads, and there's usually half a dozen bags thrown around the humidor in different places. Right, people, I think we are now 2 o'clock, as Tim correctly said that the clocks went forward at 1 a.m, so it's now 10 past 2 here. Yes, Tim, I think I'm going to as well. Yeah, great minds. They're drier at the top. Well, I don't know. You could, if you want that and you're happy with that, so that the ones that you're smoking you keep at the top, so they're ready to smoke. But if you don't want that, all you've got to do is install a little fan inside. You can buy these little humidor fans, and that will circulate. The air for you. Depends what you want. If you want it like that, that's cool. Cheers, Tim. Thanks very much. I think next week will probably be a different night, because Saturday nights are going to be difficult for me with the clocks going forward. I'm not sure yet. If I do change it, I'll let everyone know. I'll put it on one of my videos. Alright, so unless anybody's got anything else that they want to talk about, I think we'll probably call it a day. Thanks very much, Pipe Grump. Brian, cheers, good night. Good night to Michael, good night Tim, and anybody else that is still on. Razvan, speaking to you again. Tree, if you're still there, have a great one. And good night, one and all.